I was born and raised in church, was thankful for that, am thankful for that, will continue to be thankful for that foundation that was poured into me. But my first version of Jesus, unknowingly, is now what I look back and call my Jesus or mirror Jesus. I was raised with the Bible stories and about Jesus, and Jesus was a guy who liked to carry lambs and saved me from having to go to hell, which was a bad place I didn't really want to go to, and that's all I really needed to know. And it was great. It was a little bit of a pixelated, blurry vision of Jesus because we didn't dive into the deep end of a lot of stuff. But I was young. I didn't expect anything else. And but what ended up happening over my formative years is I kind of filled in the gaps with the only person that I knew, and that was me. And so my version of Jesus, my Jesus, was ended up being a little bit of a mirror. He was just a better version of me. Now, I kind of outgrew that. When I went to college, I went into the mode of what I call mad Jesus. I wanted to go deep into theology, and I went to a Bible college and university, and went to a seminary and all that sort of stuff. And I wanted to fill my head with as much knowledge, as much theology as possible. And so I did. And so I started reading deep works from a lot of really dead guys and their deep theology, and there were controversies about things I didn't even know existed 6 months prior, and you had to think this about this and this about this. But it kind of made me a jerk. And I realized that whole crowd, they're very big on knowledge, but as the Apostle Paul would later on, knowledge puffs up. I mean, it really just kind of fed my pride, my ego, because I was smart and I liked the fact of being smarter than other people. And I realized that people in that circle just like to argue with other people about other inane theological concepts as opposed to actually reaching people for Jesus. And so that crowd was just kind of mad and mean, and Jesus was mad and mean in that crowd, at least from my perspective. And so that was my mad or mean Jesus phase. And then when I started in ministry, I didn't want to be just a small, selfish mirror version of Jesus, and I didn't want to be mad or mean because that just wasn't who I am and who I wanted to be. And so I started following, as a youth pastor and then a pastor. I started looking to those who had the biggest churches and were selling the books and were leading the conferences because they were big and they were successful. So therefore, they must not be wrong. And it was this infusion of Jesus and modern marketing principles, Jesus and leadership principles, and it was what I call marketable Jesus. And so it was Jesus and leadership and Jesus and CEO principles and do this and you'll grow your church, and do this and you'll grow your church. And I love to grow things, and I wanted to be successful in what I was doing in my phase of ministry. And so I just fell straight in. I started reading all the bestsellers. I started going to the conferences. I started listening to the people with the biggest churches because they had the biggest churches. Therefore, they must not be wrong. And so I went down that road for probably almost close to 2 decades. What I found is not only was it marketable, but it just fed the evangelical industrial complex, as some has called it, or the machine. It was almost like the machine Jesus, like, hey, get people in the seats because they got to pay for the buildings and they got to pay for the staff. And, it's just a machine that keeps going. And this is how you do it. And this is how you preach Jesus in this market. So those were my 3 versions of Jesus. If I had to go back and kind of just think through my growth and maturation as a follower of Jesus. And